Camilla.
Thank you. Just sticking on the National Security Memorandum,
Sure.
Would you, you've mentioned CHUG, you've mentioned that the State Department has its own internal process of assessing cases for Israel and other countries that are in conflict. Would you say that the National Security Memorandum has at least been a useful tool for the State Department in being able to bring forward some of these conclusions in a public light, whereas perhaps your other internal processes wouldn't have necessarily done so or wouldn't plan on doing so anytime soon?
So I think the important thing to remember here, Camilla, is that no new standards were imposed. Instead, the National Security Memorandum was a tool that spelled out already existing standards set by U.S. policy and set by international law, including the law of armed conflict that countries must adhere to. We view the National Security Memorandum as now another tool in our tool belt to assess circumstances on the ground and to, in this particular case, assess the use of U.S. security articles in a particular battlefield. But I think the important thing to remember is that we didn't issue this memorandum because we thought any country was necessarily violating these standards. Instead, we wanted to be transparent about the standards that we require countries to adhere to and offer an assessment of a certain time period that the National Security Memorandum is consistent with.
Can I just one on something that was mentioned
Sure.
in the report released on Friday? It said that 40% of the Israel-Gaza related cases within the State Department's CHUG process are now closed. Can you give us an idea of what closed means? Does that mean that some of them have gone through to the Leahy process? Have others other cases been deferred back to Israel for them to come to some kind of conclusion or agreement on what could be improved or done better? How do we assess the word closed there with those 40%?
So I will check for specifics, Camilla, but the important thing to remember about the CHUG process is that there are a number of outputs that can be at the end of a CHUG process, some of them including the Leahy process. Some of it could be consultations with the government through our bilateral relationship. Some of those outputs could be additional training. So I'm not going to speak to the deliberative process in specificity beyond just saying that we continue to have tools at our disposal to look at this, and we have every intention to do so, and we make that very clear in the National Security Memorandum that we'll continue to use the tools at our disposal to continue to look at the situations on the ground, look as this conflict develops, but also look at the flow of humanitarian aid and the protection of civilians as well.
Can I just clarify a couple
Sure.
things?